boneless skin-on chicken thigh. I have 4 pieces here. Salt, sugar, Shaoxing wine, ginger, spring onion or green onion, chicken stock. Well, obviously you can just use water, but you know, why not throw in some more chicken stock for flavor? And this is literally everything I'll be using to make a Taiwanese dish. It's called saltwater chicken. And let's get going. First things first, we get the stock boiling. This is a very, very light stock. And this is from the last batch of the same dish that I made yesterday. I'll need a little bit more water. This is about 2.5 liters of water. Lid goes on, bring that up to a boil. Now with the aromatics, I've roughly chopped the ginger, skin on, everything on, and the white part of the green onions with the root end on as well. I'm just gonna throw all of this into the water to further flavor it, and then the green part is gonna be used for garnish. Now I want to season this liquid. Equal parts salt and sugar. So 3.5 tablespoons of salt. About 3.5 tablespoons of sugar. Now, the measurements are, you know, estimates. What really matters is whether or not the water tastes salty enough. Get that a taste. Needs a little bit more salt. Tastes about right. All this stuff going in. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. That was hot. Now this water is at a gentle boil. The heat is still on high. I'm going to take the chicken and add it to the stock straight from the bag. These are boneless, skin on chicken thighs. Go straight in there. And this is why I needed to season the water with a lot of salt and sugar. I'm not doing anything with the chicken thigh, so this is all the seasoning it's gonna get is from the water. Now I'll leave the heat on high, let this come back up to a boil.
A few minutes later. Much later. Many tic-tacs later.
These chicken thighs have spent a total of 45 minutes in the broth. I'm taking these out. Now one option is just to slice it up and serve it as is. But I'm gonna let these cool and slice them. I wanna let this cool down a bit and then add a little bit, well, take some of this out and add a little bit of Shaoxing wine. Drizzle that over the sliced chicken. Put the dish in the fridge and let that chill. Spoon out. A few ladlefuls of the poaching liquid. That should be enough. Shaoxing wine. Straight in. A few tablespoons. And this is gonna cool right next to the chicken at room temperature. YouTube magic. I've managed to slice the chicken thighs and make them look super ugly like this. It's actually pretty tricky to slice because the skin tends to just slide off. But, you know, plating is never what I really care about. And the broth has cooled down a bit. So what I'm gonna do now is spoon that over. I think that's enough. And put the green onion on. Whole bunch of green onion. Just plop that on top, like so. And I'm gonna stick this in the fridge.
346 minutes later.
That's the stuff. Some of the chicken fat has solidified and it just looks delicious. Now I'm gonna finish it off with some sesame oil because that's how you finish cold dishes in Chinese cooking. And voila. So, chicken, and I made some fried rice because you can't just eat chicken for a meal. And then made this double extra large salad, attempting to be healthy, although look at the amount of dressing that's in there. Nah. Wait a second. It's a little bit better. Now the top of my head isn't cut off from the frame. The poaching liquid / marinating liquid has equal parts salt and sugar in it, but I can taste no sugar. I don't know how the science behind this works, but salt and sugar complements each other very well. If I had taken out the sugar that I added in here, this would have tasted very, very salty with the same amount of salt. Again, I don't know how the science works, but this is how it is. And that's why you add a pinch of salt to your chocolate chip cookie, either the batter or the finished product. And yeah, a touch of sugar to your fried rice. This is boneless skin on chicken thigh because it cooks pretty easily. It's opened up already. And I don't mind chicken skin like not being crispy, which is the case here. Especially once it's chilled, it's almost like chicken jelly. And this is like a pretty common texture in like the Chinese way of cooking chicken. Even Taiwanese chicken rice or just the poached chicken you could get in different parts of China, like the Cantonese poached chicken or the Shanghainese poached chicken that's served with soy sauce and ginger and a little bit of scallions. This is a texture that I'm happy with, especially when it's chilled. And it's also just more convenient to use, a part of a chicken instead of the whole thing, because then you'd have to worry about carving and whatnot. I'll drop a video on fried rice when I figure everything out. But it's basically a whole lot of oil and a whole lot of salt and, not vinegar, soy sauce. Poaching is a really good way to cook chicken. It ensures an even cook. It's less likely that you overcook your chicken if you poach it. And if you flavor the cooking liquid like I did with aromatics, ginger and scallions or green onions and salt and sugar, then it actually penetrates pretty well inside the meat. And if you let it sit in the liquid afterwards, more flavors go in. Like this piece right here is gonna be really good because it's from the bottom. Now with all that being said, I should have cooked the chicken a little bit less because it's ever so slightly overcooked. But again, that's why I'm using chicken thigh. There's a bigger window of not dry chicken with chicken thigh. It kind of doesn't matter if you overcook it a little bit, whereas with chicken breast, if you overcook it a hair, you're basically done. The Shaoxing wine at the end is optional, but I really like it because it just makes this dish. It mainly adds aroma rather than flavor. It just smells good. And it smells like the chicken that I grew up eating. And there's no need to, boil off the alcohol. It's only like a few tablespoons. And it's diluted in all of this chicken stock liquid. So it's all fine. When I was little, every time I had this dish, I ended up drinking all of this liquid, which I don't think I'm able to do right now because it's very salty. By the way, this is what I mean when I said a whole bunch of oil. But for me, I like my fried rice dry in the sense that there's no water, and I like it aggressively seasoned, like the stuff you get from restaurants. So yeah, this stuff is not the healthiest thing. That's why I'm pairing it with the salad. But again, salad dressing still. You can't win. It's impossible for me to eat healthy. It's just nah. So this is it. Saltwater chicken, poached chicken, in salt and sugar and water, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. Very simple. If you don't have Shaoxing wine, don't add it. It's basically just salt, sugar, ginger, and green onion. That's it. Maybe a drizzle of sesame oil if you want. But, it's good. Like and subscribe. And, yeah, that's it. I'm out.